This is the Trainer AC. To all aspiring pilots out there, this is one of the first ACs they will fight. Not as an opponent, but as a trainer, aptly named. Through fighting this in the training room, honing your skills, designing your craft, pilots of all sorts learn the skills of their trade. They refine, they improve to seek wealth, success, glory. And in time, they are recorded in the arena. A record, a registry of all those who fight to improve. Each member of the arena has brought with them their unique design and unique fighting style. And a while back, I aspired to master them all. So I began the Arena Royale. The premise was simple. A long-form gauntlet of every single possible permutation available in the arena. I would play as every preset and fight against every opponent in the arena with each of those presets. And over a very long journey, we arrive at today. There are 3 ACs I have yet to master, that I have yet to demonstrate my competency with. But today, we shall fight, we shall win. We shall complete the Arena Royale. Anyway, hi! I like to think I was sufficiently dramatic there, though I didn't have a script prepared, so I had to sort of wing it. Either way, I think it went rather well. Check it out! We are in the arena. We're not actually in the arena. We are in the Arena Royale stream. Technically, I'm in the training room. Here's the training AC right here. For thematic appropriateness, I am here as good old Ortis. This is a continuation of the joke from last time where I took a picture of Ortis but actually fought it as the trainer AC. But yeah, formalities aside, dramatic intros aside, it's time to finish what we started. 40-ish ACs later, and we reach the end. Let us begin immediately. The final 3, Ortis, Hal, and Echo, shall complete the arena today.
Main system activating combat mode.
So, let's start with Ortis. Ortis is a very high-tech, high-concept AC with a lot of fancy tricks, but a pretty simple playstyle. This is a slightly more technical version of the classic close quarters, just brawl combat lord. In effect, it's very similar to Joyous Guard, but with very unique specialized weaponry that makes it unique to fly. In particular, instead of a regular pistol, we have the needle pistol thing. We also have one, I think it's called the Huxley, the Bullet Orbital, which is something I see on other close quarters stagger ACs, but not something I personally use. It's interesting because you don't have control over it, you just activate it and it shoots on your behalf. Our melee punish of choice is obviously the Coffee Grinder, the Steel Haze Special, now on Ortis. And then we have a Truno, which is a pretty good high stagger option, and normally would be considered a very niche and confusing type of missile launcher, except for the fact that I already use it heavily in Tidewater. So it's not unfamiliar to me. So as we start off with the third to last AC in the Arena Royale, it's going to be a fairly simple matter, close to what I usually do in fights, or something I'm familiar with Joyous Guard. And then we'll slowly move on to more and more, I don't want to say gimmicky, because that has negative connotations a little bit, but eccentric ACs are up and coming with Hal and Echo. For now, though, let's see if we can do Ortis justice. And the answer so far seems to be yes. Sometimes I wonder if you were to make an AC exclusively, supremely, unstoppably optimized for fighting ACs specifically in that one mission that gives you infinite EN, what would it look like? I don't know if it would be this, personally.
Main system.
I think this AC is just a cool AC, well-rounded, high-tech, but maybe not optimized for having infinite EN. If you had infinite EN, I imagine you would use a... Maybe the most important thing would be you don't care about the generator, so just pick the lightest thing that has the capacity you need. Maybe energy weapon specialization, since you can afford to optimize like that. I think the big thing that would change would be your choice of thruster. Something with a lot of rapid, quick boost with very little reload.
Target destroyed. Concluding evaluation. Well done.
As far as the weapons, as somebody who's tried to defeat the boss of that mission, perpetually assault boosting, just constantly assault boosting, just never stops assault boosting, I don't know what you'd pick. Because one of the problems with assault boosting constantly is that if you want to shoot like a big heavy weapon like a bazooka or whatever, you got to stop assault boosting. But if you want to shoot a regular projectile...
Arena combat aptitude evaluation.
Well, I mean, the problem with assault boosting is that you're constantly going towards your opponent. So you can't really properly aim sideways. Oh. Waiting on that stagger. Oh, I bungled it. Here, let's unbundle it. There we go. And you do a kick. And then maybe after the kick, you, like, Truno. Who knows? Who true knows? But yeah, I don't know what you would do. A lot of missiles seems maybe it's appropriate, but your opponent would have infinite EN as well. They could just assault boost dodge perpetually and basically never get hit by a missile. Actually, that's another problem. If they're assault boost dodging constantly as well, then they're gonna run into the problem of your targeting needs to be phenomenal at probably long range. You might have to manual aim everything. I'm suddenly curious about the logistics of this. This is actually an interesting design question.
Arena combat aptitude evaluation.
Main system Activating combat.
Maybe you don't have to assault boost all the time. Maybe just like perpetually quick boosting is good enough. And then you just use like simple-ish weapons that you can just spam. Okay, kick, maybe Truno. That worked, kinda. I'll just blender you real quick. Oh, you didn't let me blender you. That's rude. I'm trying to learn the intricacies of these specific weapons for this particular playstyle.
50%.
Done. Oh well. There we are. Leave it to the Trunos. The needle pistol is a little weird because it has a very fast reload, but it does need to reload. I also maybe want to be caring more about the overheat of my orbital. And again, I can just do this. Do a little kick, and then do a little that. Okay, he shielded. That's okay. Let's go for a charge slash. Very good. I actually don't know if I like the Truno on this. It provides a decent long-range option in the same sort of style of completely direct engagement. I don't know. I appreciate that this AC has the Trunos on it, because I very much benefit from the heritage of the Truno that came from this AC. And if this AC didn't have the Trunos, then no AC would have the Trunos, and I'd be out of a Tidewater. I'd have to go back to Songbirds or something.
Arena combat aptitude
Maybe
evaluation.
an actual different real missile.
Activating combat mode.
Scary stuff. Ooh, that's a big damage. Oh, I forgot, we have terminal armor. I don't have a core expansion to use. I instinctively went for assault armor.
AP at 50%.
The Truno feels like a contingency plan. Because everything else on this AC deliberately desires that you're extremely close. Like the needle pistol and the orbital require a close opponent. The melee weapon is going to be a punish for when they're staggered, so you want to be close when they're staggered. The Trunos, I feel like, struggle against an enemy at extreme close range.
Arena combat
So,
aptitude.
if you're going to use it to shoot someone at long range, I mean, that's fine. It's a contingency in case they're far away. It almost is sort of like a little mini tracking shot to hit someone at long range, but the high stagger on the Truno means that you might just be squandering your stagger opportunity if you do that. Maybe you use it as like an opener. But that too is hard to do because the enemy... Well, the Truno's tracking takes so long. The enemy will have time to get close. So do you need to like stay at long range, hit him with a Truno, then go in? Like hide and then fight? I don't want to do that. I want to run in head first and do violence. We just did Hawk.
Arena Combat Aptitude Evaluation Program.
It is.
Number 9.
Main system activating combat mode.
We fight. I wonder what kind of FCS is running. I guess it's something from Furlong. Done. You just don't let up on your opponent. Ortus works well. Time for Roku. Time for Monson.
Arena.
Main system activating combat mode.
Here's an interesting one. That was an interesting engagement we had there, I feel. I guess there is sort of a waiting period after a while, because you need the orbital to be ready to go if you want to do the good stagger with the needle pistol as well. What the heck? You got both shields ready for the go.
AP at 30%.
Oh. Not looking well for me. Did not look well for me. All right, so I am seeing there's an ebb and flow to this.
Main system activating combat mode.
Maybe it's like high velocity, low turn dogfighting. You go in for like a joust. Like you fly past each other doing like one crazy move and then you go for the other things. Come on.
50%.
There we are. Got him.
Arena Combat Aptitude Evaluation.
Main system activating combat mode.
There you are. Now this one's going to be tough for customer as well because I cannot stagger Volta in time with one like volley of everything. I'm going to need at least two. There it is. Do a nice little kick. Trinos. Hey, I think they hit. I left myself exposed to counterattack, but they did hit, so I'm happy. Finish up with the Needler and Blender. Done.
Arena Combat.
It is.
Main system activating combat mode.
Everything's going smooth here. I'm getting a sense of it all. Ooh, nice shield tech. Alright, cool off. Make sure that there's enough stagger remaining. Make sure the weapon cools down so I can do my cool epic combo attack. Go for it. Oh! Needle. 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 There we go. That was a needle. We needle. Sula time.
Main system activating combat mode.
Now, leave it to me to turn everything into a Star Wars reference. But I feel like there's a sense in which Ortis kind of plays like a TIE Defender. In the sense specific to hit video game Star Wars Squadrons. Because the problem there, or at least the solution there, or the situation there, because that will be the problem and solution in one convenient package, is that the TIE Defender is very well equipped to be like general purpose plus.
Arena combat
It's fast,
aptitude
it's well defended,
Combat mode.
it's well armed. But its weakness comes in management of its systems and components. And also the fact that under its shield is extremely fragile. In the same way that under my major evasiveness, I am very susceptible to having low AP, given that I'm a lightweight AC. But the way the TIE Defender works is that its energy systems do not have very high capacity. So you effectively need to perform very careful management of all of your systems, or else be stuck as a sort of...
target destroyed. Concluding a...
like, capable of 2 things out of 3 necessities type of deal. I don't know how to explain that in a more convenient, like, fast, powerful, bulky, pick 2. The TIE Defender's ability is to be able to possess the peak of all 3 of those, at the cost of it requiring you to basically do juggling while dogfighting in order to maintain all of those 3 at once. Like, if you try and optimize for speed and power, you are going to lose durability very rapidly. Your shields will disintegrate. If you want your shields to be bulky, you're going to be left with very little boost speed to work with, and your weapon's running out of ammo. Like, it's a
Arena combat aptitude
It's a balancing act. And I feel like, even though there are probably better metaphors for, like, energy management with just energy weapons in general, this AC is capable of being it all, just not at the same time. Just not all at once. Like, I'm being evasive, I'm providing the stagger, and I can put out the orbital to make my stagger good, but then the orbital's gonna overheat because I need to actively focus on it. I need to do inventory management while fighting. Which adds a layer/level of multitasking and attention splitting. That means that only the top of the supreme of people able to multitask like that are going to be able to bring out the full potential of this thing.
Arena
And
combat
I don't know
altitude
if I'm that person.
Main system activating combat mode.
My specialty is not so much my ability to multitask and handle all of these different interlocking systems at once. In fact, I feel like I excel at using as few systems as possible to a very effective degree. But my specialty in combat is reading my opponent, trying to figure out their patterns, and then exploiting them to effectively trick them into doing what I want them to do. Or at least just adapting my playstyle to completely nullify their tendencies. At least that's what I like to think my specialty is. But against...
50%.
But when using something this level of multiple systems, I gotta remember everything I'm doing, it can be tough to keep it all together.
AP at 30%.
This is why, despite my great enjoyment of hit RTS Empire at War, I do not often play other real-time strategy games, because I have very good difficulty multitasking the fights, the economics. I gotta like, oh, don't forget to build a supply depot. Don't forget to keep building soldiers. Like I tunnel vision too hard into what particular aspect of what I'm doing. And I do that thing very good, but everything else sort of falls to the wayside. Multitasking and complex organization is actually something I struggle with. Wild, I know. Great credit to those who can. It's impressive. I am impressed by it.
Arena combat
And I strive to improve.
evaluation program.
Main system
Hopefully I will.
combat mode.
Expanding my mindsets, my capabilities is part of what the Arena Royale is all about. Gotcha. Oh, we had the same idea. Like, don't forget to put out the orbital. Don't forget to put away the orbital before it overloads. Look at the stagger bar. You gotta get ready to be closer into it to melee. I'm impressed Rusty was able to keep it together with this thing. You know, leave it to Rusty to be good at his job.
Arena combat aptitude evaluation.
Main system activating combat mode.
Alright, how we dealing with Dead Slit today? I'm gonna say orbitals as we sluice around. He looks like he wants to get me with the Ruger, but then gave up. He's high on stagger, now we go in with the pistols and the orbitals and get stunned to all oblivion. Melee! Kick! True nose! Excellent!
AP at 50%.
True nose away. Got him. Orbital. I'm delegating the task
At
to you.
30%.
Maybe the orbital is the trick for that mission. You just deploy all the orbitals, and then they fight while you just focus on flying around and dodging. It's like you have a gunner. I bet they can shoot backwards, probably. Actually, I don't know. Never really thought to try. Never really had a situation where I could try. Never tried to engineer a situation where I could try, though. So maybe it's my fault.
Arena Combat Aptitude Evaluation Program.
It's all
Number
good,
9.
though.
Main system activating combat mode.
Hello, Steel Haze. Welcome to the sunrise. Ooh, nice one. Fortunately, I'm fast.
AP at 50%.
And again, I was forgetting to use the orbital. I just can't keep all these systems together in my head. With Tidewater, I just shoot with whatever particular weapon I'm ready to shoot with at the time. And two of them are the same weapon, which I usually fire together as one just massive barrage.
Arena Combat
Simple
Aptitude.
system, but complicated execution, I think, is where I excel. Oh, there's management stuff. I just dodge and shoot. That's the two things I need to know how to do. Surprised that missed. Orbital away. I remembered to put it away. Proud of myself. Did I just like down warp? That felt weird. You tried to explode, but you couldn't. Already blew you up.
Target destroyed.
Own alive.
This concludes B rank evaluation. Well done.
Tooth down, time for Nile. As we reach the end of the A-side arena, we are making good
Main
progress.
system activating combat mode.
Orbital out. Keep Helton. We have an opportunity for Truno. There it is. Okay. Reload the orbital's heat capacity. Keep firing with the needles. Enter into casual dodge and shoot mode. Orbital has cooled down. Re-engage. Try and make sure we can get a stagger on before their shields restore. Another Truno opportunity. Played it! Hit. Point blank Truno did not succeed. Do not do a melee from that situation. Ow! Nice. Time for Snail.
Arena Combat.
Hey, question. In the Liberation ending, what happened to, like, the rest of Arquebus? Are they just... Like, I know the, like, Snail was happy that the Xylem was destroyed. So it was like, oh good, the coral's safe and in our possession. But And what happened to the rest of it? Like, what happened, like, did we get the coral back, or... Like, what occurred as a result of that? Aw, ain't that cute. What we just saw there was Snail throwing a tantrum. He just decided to assault armor in the middle of nowhere because he was grumpy.
Target destroyed.
I mean, I guess maybe the, like, comms we were hearing in the background was the RLF attacking the vascular plant, so maybe we occupied it. I guess I never really consciously considered what was going on in the background. I was just happy that I was fighting with Rusty, doing a bunch of cool combat, blowing up Snail. Like, you know, the things you like to do.
Arena combat aptitude evaluation.
Main system activating combat mode.
It's just a good time. Hey, 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 how you doing, Chartreuse? Oh. I don't have the range to punish. Ooh, you almost hit me on the way down there. You clever, sneaky opponent of mine. Unfortunately, I'm going to hit you with my nail gun. Ow. Additional moments of being in pain. There's your shield. Needler. That was funny. Nope, overloaded that. Unfortunate. Let's do a little kick on you. Do needle, dodge that.
At 30%.
Uh-oh. I think I've messed this up. I did. So it turns out you are not actually going to be doing the incredible amount of damage that you need to unless you hit with the melee combo. You are dependent on it. And I sort of figured this. I thought I could Truno from a distance and get some good shots in, but if I can, not against Shark. What the heck? How did that lead happen? And I'm making some poor trades, I feel. My eagerness to get good hits in is at odds with my desire to win. You wouldn't think they're at odds, but they are. Yeah. Okay. New plan. We play it long. And then only go short when we are ready to stagger. And then when we go short, we go short. Like so. Kick. There we are. Still plenty to adapt to with Ortus.
Arena combat aptitude evaluation.
Main system activating combat mode.
Bring it. Goodbye. Do you think it would be overly arrogant of me if I staggered somebody started a melee combo and before their AP hit 0, I declare victory? I feel like that'd be a little rude and also
Arena combat
unverifiable, my actual
Main
victory.
system activating combat mode.
Like, imagine if time progressed and instead of this one, I was using Nightfall still, and I went for the pile bunker. Like, I staggered them, I began the charge attack, it was all looking good, and I just declared victory then, but what if I actually missed somehow? What if that was real?
AP at 50%.
Gotcha. One, that would be hilarious, and two, I didn't win. So I shouldn't do that.
Arena Combat Aptitude Evaluation Program. Number 2, Rank S.
Main system activating combat mode.
Michigan moment. How many bolts do I have? 5? Yeah. Weird amount. Ooh, you hit me with the ET. I feel like maybe the Michigan would be a bit more lethal if he used the ET more often. I feel like he doesn't use it enough. Freud time.
Final Arena Combat.
Main system activating combat mode.
Hold off, wait for the shield to break. Use this time. There it is! Mission accomplished. Okay, time for the analysis. We'll go alpha, beta, gamma, and then down the line, skipping tester and trainer for the scheduled time,
Main system activating combat mode.
and call it good from there.
AP at 50%. AP at 30%.
I think I have not respected my opponent. Does this work? I have a legitimate chance here. Never mind.
Main system activating combat mode.
I forgot about the laser orbital that Mind Alpha has. I thought that Mind Alpha didn't have any, like, rapid-fire weapons. It was just the javelin, and the whip. I thought if I stayed back and just dodged really well, I would win off of attrition alone. Sadly not. Cut that out. Gotcha.
Percent.
I'm full beta.
Integration program.
Main system activating combat mode.
Hello, you're the one with the shield, the knife, and the cursive. I mean, you're not the only one in the Mind series to have the cursive. Cursive appears to be a big popular thing for you, actually. Nice shield. Where'd you get it? The shield store? Takigawa Harmonix, perhaps? There seems to be a big supplier in that market. Close.
AP at 50%.
You almost cursed this with me, but I got you first. New funny idea I have for an AC weapon type thing. You know how all these weapons, like especially ones with explosives and stuff in them, they have explosives in them. Theoretically, you could detonate them and then they explode, and that's how you use the weapon. What if you were to purge a weapon, like literally just dump it on the ground? You could then, by pressing the reload input for that weapon, which would be empty hand now, you could detonate it, and all of the explosives inside would blow up. What I'm imagining here is like the explosive thrower. You ditch it, and then you hit the quote-unquote reload empty-handed to detonate it into what is basically one massive earshot explosion. I think that'd be funny. I also think that'd just generally be interesting. Because suddenly there's like a waiting,
Integration
like,
program.
ground bit
Main
of
system activating
deadly
combat mode.
terrain. You've effectively turned it into, depending on your particular preference, either Demo Man from Team Fortress 2, or, the way I was thinking about it, Snake from Super Smash Bros. You just put down a landmine. Now, it's dangerous because you're ditching a weapon to put down this landmine, which is why I think it might be balanced. But if you have a weapon that has like pretty low ammunition anyway, you use some of that ammunition, you're like, yeah, I feel like this weapon's not going to help for the fight. Or maybe you deliberately overburden yourself, bringing in extra weapons so you can just drop it immediately and then go for a 3-weapon combo thing. Hey, Capra, how's it going? Then I think this sort of like drop a landmine as dropping a weapon type thing might be good and interesting. Maybe this could be a thing generally applicable to most weapons. If it's a projectile bullet type weapon, maybe it explodes manually into like a shrapnel grenade. Just a fragmentation grenade with linear rifle shots going in every direction or something. Maybe the energy weapons can blow up in a giant plasma ball, possibly. Heck, if you purge the plasma weapon, maybe it can just sort of sit there, slowly leaching from its own ammunition as just an AoE plasma ball on the ground. Kind of like the napalm grenades. That'd be cool.
Integration program.
Main system activating combat mode.
Gotta fight Corporation. Corporation's the one that's hard to hit. They're very evasive. They're the closest to a Lammergeier that Armor Core 6 had at release. I respect it for it, but I also am highly inconvenienced by it. After all, I'm the one who's got to punch this sucker. Let's kick. Help. Slash. Success. We go to Rubiconian. The beloved, underappreciated reverse joint of the arena, I feel. In terms of raw power, it's overshadowed by Dead Sled. In terms of narrative significance, it's overpowered by Mind Gamma.
Activating combat mode.
It's just nobody's reverse joint. That said, I feel like it itself is a decent template for somebody making their own reverse joint, because there are some big reverse joint fans out there. Case in point, Bianui. And I feel like this AC reminds me of how actual reverse joint pilots would design an AC, perhaps. Maybe there's a bit more esoteric weaponry on here, like the stun launcher. But still, it looks like a player-made reverse joint. Actually, maybe that's the point of the analysis Rubiconian and Corporation ACs. They're a hodgepodge of parts. Not the normal brand loyalty that you usually see in the corporate ACs, which are most of the ACs you see in the game. So the fact that it's just a bunch of parts put together, no real respect to, the set they come in, makes them look more like the patchwork ACs of regular players. I don't know why I was proud of that. That was a bad trade of health and stuff, but it looked cool, I think. Much better.
AP at 30%.
Very good. Quick, efficient. Nice, straight to the point. Next up is Nightfall.
Integration.
The schedule...
Main system activating.
We're about on schedule. I don't know exactly where we'll trip the breaker. Whether I'll be able to beat all of these and then do Tester and Trainer, or if I have to, like, pause before Echo. I don't know. Depends on how well these next fights go. And I mean, this one's going quite well, if I do say so myself. Yeah. If I first try the rest of these, I will be fine to do Tester Trainer as an epilogue to Ortis, so to speak.
Main system activating combat
Very
mode.
good, very good. I'm glad we had this time together. Let me teach you how to fly, Rusty. Needle. Dodged it. How dare you? There we go. I wanted the anticlimactic needle. Okay, how? Yeah, I think we'll make it. I'm officially declaring that we'll make it.
Main system activating combat mode.
I am unilaterally declaring success on an operation I have not yet completed. We are officially using prophetic future tense irresponsibly. Ow! Picked. Do. Echo time.
Raven.
Main system activating combat mode.
Okay, this one's gonna be interesting. Because I do need to kind of respect the platformer nature of the Echo fight. And as a result, completely bungle my
30%.
opportunity. That was close one. Hit. True nose. True nose. Okay. Excellent. Well, in accordance with the schedule, time to do tester and trainer. Not necessarily in that order.
Integration.
Main system activating combat mode.
I see ya. Oh. Away with ye. Away with ye, indeed. All right, time for tester.
Main
Oh,
system
congratulations
activating
on
combat
getting that permission. It's just carte blanche now. You can just do it. Did you have to, like, persuade this, or did Robobo just let you? Okay, so he accidentally gave you a lot more permission and didn't know what you would do with it. Nice. So, with that, we are done with our good old buddy. Let us move to the next on our list. Very different than Ortus, I feel. A heavyweight biped. How?
Welcome to the Arena Combat Aptitude Evaluation Program.
Main system activating
Congratulations,
combat mode.
Capra. So, How is very different. Powerful weapons, a shield, perhaps unnecessary, but I did it. Oral weapons I'm very unfamiliar with. They're very foreign to me. Which is understandable because all the coral weapon ACs are the ones I haven't used yet. Accidentally clicked on the nest button. So the way I understand this is that we have the shield, which is rare among shields in that you can shoot with your left-hand weapon while the shield is out. Very useful. It's also 360-degree protection.
Main system activating combat
In addition, we have the right-hand weapon, which can shoot a little beam. You can charge it up for like a little super beam and then charge it up even further for a super duper beam. You've got the coral missile thing. You can literally just Master Spark with this thing. And then Master Blade with that. But because there are so many powerful charged options, you don't shoot a lot per unit weapon. Which means if you miss, you miss.
Arena combat.
It's kind of like Chartreuse in that way.
Main system activating combat mode.
Yeah, let's try going for something wild. Didn't have the opportunity to charge up the super rifle because I wasn't thinking to do it. Which is unfortunate. It means that I don't have the firepower I need for this next part. It is fun to hit with the super beam.
Arena combat aptitude.
Main system activating
So this is
combat mode.
another type of management. This is charge management. Also, I gotta remind myself I have a shield. Start charging this up, by the way. That's ready to go. Hit him with a little bit of kaboom. I missed. Hit him with a little bit of a kick. Another kick for power. Fire! I wonder if there's a mod for this game that changes that to be the Master Spark noise. I would appreciate it personally. Not to say I would use it, because I don't know if I want to use this weapon. But it's fun. Materlink.
Arena combat.
Main system activating combat mode.
So... Another kick.
HP at 50%.
Okay. Fire!
At 30%.
Frick, my opponent dodged. How dare they? There's my opponent. Oh, there's my opponent. Yeah, I did it. Another thing I remembered just in time is I have a shield. I should use it to block damage. I suppose that helps bridge the gap with all of the very rare interspersed opportunities to do good damage with the AL AC.
Main system
Is that the shield
activating
lets you
combat
survive
mode.
for longer. without really getting in the way of what you're doing. Done. You can't see it through the explosion, but I did it.
Arena combat app.
Main system activating combat mode.
Get Master sparked. It is really fun to hit with. But it is also really hard to hit with.
Arena combat aptitude evaluation.
Main system activating combat mode.
Oh, wait, this is opportunity. Fire! Okay, you know what, that went well. Oop.
50%.
Beam. Nice. Alright, time for Ring Freddy. I don't think I'm using this AC correctly. Like, I'm not optimal with it. I'm just using the individual pieces
Main
as just
system
toys that I
activating
occasionally
combat
swap
mode.
with each other. I think I understand their, like, first volley is good. You charge it up, then you the lock on, you fire it, then you can shoot. I mean, I guess I could have been shooting this whole time if I were actually paying attention to what I'm doing, but like I said, better multitasking. Mop! Now, if I were being really responsible, I would have probably been charging up the arm weapon this whole time for that moment. Yeah, a lot of mistakes here, I feel. Ow.
50%.
Well, at least I got a shield. It kind of worked. I don't really have the mindset for combos. I'm more reactionary. I don't really do setup and payoff. I just do.
Arena combat.
Main system activating combat mode.
Like, while I'm kicking someone, why should I be feeling like I need to have already been charging my arm weapon for the past 20 minutes? Maybe I should have thought of that 20 minutes ago, huh?
the moment. Fire!
Tricky dodged.
AP at 30%.
Blade. We just hit him normally a bit. There we go. Iguazu. The Iguazu.
Main system activating combat mode.
Hey, Ig, how you doing?
AP at 50%.
Running behind a wall, how dare you?
AP at 30%.
Uh-oh, I lose. Almost. Got him. I think he dodged into the explosion, which is a little embarrassing for him. Rokumonsen.
Arena combat.
Fighting as Hal is like a real commitment.
Main system.
You need to know
activating
exactly
combat
what you're
mode.
doing, prepare all your moves 4 steps in advance. Just hope that it makes sense. Ah.
AP at 50%.
Going well.
Arena combat apt.
Main system activating combat mode.
Okay, Volta has momentum. That is true. Not much though. Oh. Got him. Hater. That's just who he is.
Arena combat apt.
Main system.
Vader's
Activating
fast.
combat mode.
Reasonably defensive, but I think Vader also has the melee weapon. Oh, and you stagger real easy, buddy. Got him. Get bonked, get bonked. Come on, get bonked. That's a bonk. He got bonked.
Main system. Activating combat mode.
And all that work to stagger him, and he chooses to not be staggered, huh?
AP at 30%.
Much better. Kinda. Okay. I don't think I should be using the charged super beam nearly as much as I'm currently am. I don't think it's the ultimate destroyer of opponent that I think it is. Maybe I should try the middle charge, but then I have to, like, focus to figure out where that middle charge is.
Main system. Activating combat mode.
Like at 3 seconds. Ooh, that works quite well. As a follow-up to a kick, kind of like the linear rifle, I think that worked effectively. I wonder. I understand how the owl can be formidable.
Arena combat app.
You get hit, you get hit.
Activating combat mode.
We are. Follow up with this. Hit. We good. The reloads and cooldowns are just a little too slow to have all of the weapons sort of nicely combo into each other in like a cyclical way. Like I can't do charge melee, then do the standard pulse shots a little bit to stagger them, and then punish with the melee again.
Activating combat mode.
The timing just isn't right for that. That was irresponsible of me. Gotta remember, there's an uncharged blade as well, which is quite powerful. And works like a normal melee weapon, which has its advantages. Did that, we did Flatwell, we did O'Keefe, time for Carla. I think I subconsciously consider O'Keefe to be higher in the ranking. Well, higher, I think like earlier. Higher in the list in the
Arena combat.
positional sense.
Main system.
Lower in the
Activating
rank,
combat
earlier in the arena. Because he's a Tetra in the training room. Because I definitely consider Carla to be on the later end of the arena. But not O'Keefe, despite them being next to each other. I think that's a psychological mistake on my part. O'Keefe is further along than I realize. I've grouped it with the earlier cluster of training room Tetras, and that's just not correct.
Arena.
Main system. Activating combat mode.
In today's fight, I remember that I have a shield. What? I feel like I've been robbed of some great glory.
AP at 50%.
Yeah, it keeps happening. Your tracking missiles are interrupting my dang combos.
AP at 30%.
Ow.
Main system. Activating combat mode.
This is reinforcing to me the fact that I am not operating HAL correctly. Confused myself a little bit. I thought I had double charge. That ought to stop you. Cold call concluded. I hung up.
Arena combat.
Main system. Activating combat mode.
Rusty. If I play this correctly, and I don't know if I will, Rusty should just collapse like an aluminum foil construction. Almost played it phenomenally. I'm impressed I got that much. I want to hit him with the massive spark.
AP at
Wait.
50%.
Fire!
Got him.
Arena.
Main
Arena.
system. Activating combat mode.
Maybe I should just hit him with the normal charge melee, like uncharged. I'm shielded. Aha! Sniped. Okay, time for the final 10 of records.
Arena com.
Main system activating combat mode.
I do like kick into uncharged melee as an opener. A bit more reliable, I feel. That was really good. More! I just unloaded every single weapon I had there.
Arena combat aptitude evaluation.
Main system activating.
Do you think there's a
combat
particular AC design that likes having its back against the wall? Like you could bait someone forward by just going into a corner and your opponent's like, ah, they're stuck in a wall, I can do crazy combos. But in truth, that's their entire plan and they want you to think that. It'd be interesting. I'm saying. Beam! This AC does indeed radiate cool. No, you. Like this AC feels overpowered, but hyper clunky. But it feels not like so clunky that it's completely useless. It's actually quite operable. It's got potential. All of the potential. Potential all.
Arena combat.
Main system.
That is not the etymology of that word. In case you were worried. Maybe use the shield more for this one. Regular charge. Kaboom. Too far. I knew it would be too far, but I did it anyway. Ow. Beam. Beam. Haha. Okay. Hard for us to get the final bit of damage in. Never mind, it already happened. Alright. It's nailed, it Umbra. Time for Dolmayan.
Arena combat aptitude evaluation.
Main system.
We're definitely ahead of schedule now, I feel. If we weren't before, we are now. Blade? Ho 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 ho! Good stuff. Ooh, the fire got me. Sliced.
Arena com.
Main system activating combat mode.
Ow. Oh, just hit you. Hit you and then coral you. Another kick. Another kick. You're done. Sometimes you just need another kick. Michigan. Michigan. I don't know how to do a good Walter voice.
Main system activating combat mode.
I'm not good at mimicking the voices of a person that actually has an assigned voice. I'm better at just sort of vaguely inventing a voice for somebody. Which is why unvoiced visual novels, such as the Ace Attorney series, are such a benefit for my voice acting skills. I do not trust my consistency in any particular voice that I do. So, mimicry, imitation, is not really something I try for. And even when I'm making up a voice, I worry that it alters over time because I use it and then I forget it and then I try and reinvent it from scratch again. Anyway, that was Michigan.
Final arena com.
Main system activating combat mode.
Ooh, good dodge. Jobbing it. I said that backwards. Ow. Let me hit you. Thank you. You ready now? There we go, that's something. Now we kick. Kaboom! Time for integration.
Integration.
Main system activating combat mode.
Stabbed. Well, sliced. Not many stabbing weapons in Armored Core's repertoire. There's the knife, which some of its attacks are stabs. Pile Bunker you could technically consider a stab. Jet Lance you could also technically consider a stab. Sometimes you just gotta call a stab a stab. Sometimes you just gotta call something that isn't a stab a stab. One could argue it's a stab in the sense that I have a coral generator and that was a coral energy weapon. Tapping into the Pokemon terminology in order to make that make sense. Ow. Yeah, that was good. Mine beta down.
Integration program.
Main system activating combat mode.
Burn. Alright, we got an evasive one. Here we go. No punish, unfortunately. We keep going, though. Come on. You know you wanna. Surprised you managed to dodge that at that range. Got fooled. Okay, ahead of schedule as we are. Let's just do... Okay, how about we do... Trainer Tester now as part of just regular combat, not part of the schedule. And then we'll do the schedule with the next AC. And then we won't have to worry about that. It's a gamble. I'm making the gamble that I will be ahead of schedule with the next AC. But I think I will. In optimal conditions, I approximate each AC fight as taking about a minute. That includes, like, menuing to go to the next one. Sometimes it's a minute and a half.
Main system activating combat mode.
But there are exactly 41 ACs in the combined arena. So in principle, if we're going and doing fine, one would expect us to be able to do one loop of the arena in best case scenario 40 minutes. And these are some of the toppest of the line ACs we're dealing with right now. So one could make the reasonable assumption that I would be able to do these in good time. Wait, did I just already fight Tester? Like, did I just fight Tester a few seconds ago? I don't remember.
Phase 1. Final analysis.
I mean, I have the time. I could do it again. Yeah, I'm looking at this and I'm feeling a sense of familiarity. I do indeed think I just fought Tester. That's okay though. Like, it really did not take much time at all. So, that's done. We go to Corporation and proceed as normal. I don't think that will ruin our scheduling. I think our scheduling will be fine.
System activating combat mode.
Ooh, a troubling bit of Corporation is the fact that its little laser turrets are benefited by me being stationary, which I am to do all of my cool attacks. I think I got him. Yep, that's a corpse. Rubiconian. Yeah, we have like 10 minutes. We'll be fine.
Main system
More than 10 minutes.
activating
Closer to
combat mode.
15. We'll be fine. I've got clearance to accidentally lose against every single one of these fights and still have time. Got him. Institute.
Integration program.
Main system activating combat mode.
Okay, I'm losing because of their general evasiveness. Start using more standard weapon approaches. That works good. 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 I'll just wait it out. Done. Next up, Nightfall.
Main system activating combat mode.
What do you think All Might would have done if there was an integration program Gamma variant? Like, where would the design have gone from there? You missed. See, that's the problem. That's the problem. What if you miss? said, though, we are trading blows quite evenly, and I am worried.
AP at 30%.
Got him. Moving on to Ordis.
Raven, All Mind was keeping this.
Main system activating combat mode.
Solved it. Simple fight, simple moves. Time for a mirror match. We'll see who can howl better, me or me.
Raven, this data was kept secret by All Mind.
Main system activating combat mode.
I'm sorry about that one. I wanted to see what I could get away with. I just wanted... I stand still. Can I win? Walking slowly. A few... just bars quick boost. Do I still win off that? The answer is yes. Alright, what's Air up to?
Main system activating combat mode.
Let's find out. Gotta keep this one proper. This is a platforming fight after all. I do like the option to use the shield to tank. Like, deliberately using tanking it as a move is actually kind of nice. There we go for the blade, and then explode randomly. Okay. And that is the end of HAL. It is time for our final, very final, true final AC. We have gone through every other preset in some order or configuration. This is all that's left. Echo. We've been facing the platforming AC for so long, now it is time to be the platforming AC. So, how do you fight as the platforming AC? Well, in a sense, it's very similar to the kind of considerations we had to have as HAL, except even worse. Our gun shoots even slower. The idea is that we can do something like that and do some kicks. At the very least, the scythe is a very good, solid weapon because it gives a 1-2 punch, so it's very likely you'll hit with something. The missile, I believe, is the exact same. I don't think there are two different coral missiles. Or if there are, it doesn't matter in this case. They're the same one. It's just a matter of snaking it together. So we don't have the super charge beam attack, so I think we should be more comfortable just using our attacks as we feel it's appropriate.
Activating combat
Our
mode.
main weapon is most certainly the sight. And, you know, our coral blaster. It's singularly powerful, but for the most part, we want to do the big damage here, launch the coral missile, and maybe be more responsible actually charging it. Do something like that, do a little this and that action, you know, while they're still under stagger damage. Our core expansion is going to be approximately unhelpful, because we have the pulse bubble shield. You know, the big one, the stationary one, the one out of Halo. And there is room and appropriateness for having a big bubble shield if you want to engage in a platform puzzle.
Arena com.
It might be able to force our opponents closer or leave them at bay if we're in trouble.
Main system activating combat mode.
But I'm not used to using it. I mean, I'm not used to using any of the core expansions except for assault armor. And even then, one could argue I got in a little late on that. Let's keep this simple. We know what we want to do. Even if we don't use the super coral missile, it is still a missile. We can respect that. I keep forgetting which of the scythe weapons is good for charge attacks and which one is good for regular attacks, relative to each other. I simply don't remember. I mean, they're both okay at both. Actually, I'm going to reason through the behaviors of a person who isn't even me.
Main system activating combat mode.
Famed AC-6 pilot and opponent of mine on occasion, Domino, uses the non-coral sight and very much wants to use it to do charge attacks. So I'm going to go on the assumption that they're using the coral weapon optimized for charge attacks because they like to do charge attacks so much, and conclude that the coral one is good for regular attack. I think that's reasonable logic. I'm gonna go with it. Oh, I've learned something from another person, indirectly, just by observing their actions. Ain't that great? Starting to forget who my opponents are. I should really be focusing more on the opponents as we go through them, because this is the last time we're seeing them. This is the last AC in the fight. This is Maeterlinck, famous for being cautious. Yeah, that's sort of Maeterlinck's personality trait, if I were to describe it. Maeterlinck is cautious, makes sure to have enough capability to ensure success. I can appreciate that. I also like to ensure success of what I am doing. Sometimes. And you can see it in Maeterlinck's design. A nice, bulky shield deployable for a long amount of time. Tends to stay at a distance. Uses the microwave to make sure that an opponent using a shield can be overrun. Also has the facade to do good damage at long range, meaning they don't need to get in close and personal. And because it's the facade and has high area of effect damage, it ensures that damage will be dealt.
AP at 50%.
A lot of Maeterlinck's design is based around ensuring things will happen. Unfortunately, it's not enough to ensure success. There's a lot of elements that go into combat. And now we have perhaps the mascot of my opponent of choice.
Activating combat mode.
ZE, UAU, my designated training partner for dodging, who is very, very difficult to use because it's two bazookas, it's very telegraphed. Good for learning the notions of dodging. Good for training against an opponent as a simple, developing pilot, wanting to learn the basics of it all. Loving the environment, this ice river frozen over. Nice flat terrain, smooth, icy, beautiful. Fighting with Z, just back and forth, figuring out how much I can hold myself back and still win, even not get hit at all. I got hit there. You got hit more. Good stuff, good times. I'm looking at the timing, and maybe this is our scheduled moment. So let's do our scheduled moment.
Integration.
Main system activating combat mode.
I almost tried to play it like Hal for a second. That was a mistake, but not one I was punished for, really. Unlike Hal, I feel like I do have this potential for long-duration pressure combo. Like, the scythe reloads relatively quickly compared to other things. And since I'm not holding one weapon behind my back during the fight, I can actually use that weapon to keep up the stagger for a bit.
Integration pro.
Main system activating combat mode.
When you're good at calculus. Flash. Could probably use that time, if I'm gonna do that, to charge up the cannon. Might make a good 1-2 punch. Like so. In fact, I'm pretty sure that's how Echo does it in the Echo fight. Like, you do the 1-2, do a quick boost, and then fire. I'm becoming the platformer. Well, with that out of the way, we can go back to our regularly scheduled fights with the problem that I don't oh, right. I ended on Z for sentimentality.
Arena combat.
Now it's Swinburne.
Main system activating combat mode.
The classic Swinburnian. Swinburne's an interesting person in general. You only see him in one mission, where the mission's sole objective is to destroy him. But he makes such a major impression with the mission, in that it's a very different mission from most. And your interaction with him is one of the most intricate of any potential opponent.
AP at 30%.
You have a conversation. You respond in this conversation. He asks questions, you give answers. It's interesting. Oh, I made the wrong call there. I didn't expect him to go for the baton.
Main system activating.
But yeah,
combat
Swinburne.
mode.
Is there a third level of charge to this that I'm... No. Maybe I should charge up the missile. Maybe I should do this. Swinburne is infuriatingly on the defensive here. Maybe I'll get him on the offensive with this. Should have charged the missile I had all that time. Off the stagger. Unfortunate. I can get more at the stagger store.
30%.
Got him. At the stagger store. I'll be honest, in terms of the arena, Li Long is just Swinburne with slightly different weapons. It's a Tetra, it flies, it's got a shield. Doesn't have a melee weapon, but really it's just another in the line of Tetras. I mean, that's unique. Explosive, their assault armor. Still, though, it does the basic Tetra thing, flying around, general evasiveness. You know what? Let's make that coral missile fly. Good results.
AP at 50%. AP at 30%.
Oh, no, we're good. I do think charging the coral missile is an important element of fighting as Echo that I should utilize more. That suppression of the big missile going slowly and tracking, and the other smaller missiles that sort of bolt out of it for more volume of missile.
Arena.
Turns out pretty good.
System activating.
And I can
combat
basically
mode.
just charge it, wait till tracking's done whenever. It's kind of free. And I should treat it as such. Ah, that was silly. I stopped fighting too early. I thought that scythe would hit. That one hit, though. Hawkins. Hawkins stands alone in the tetrapods. Due to his combination of not having a shield and having a melee weapon and being slightly more bulky overall, I feel. He doesn't play like the others. He's also physically separated from the Swinburne-Li Long combo. I keep doing that as if I have a weapon that takes advantage of that. Good. Next up is Iguazu. Headbringer as an AC isn't very stand out. As I've said before, it's basically Trainer with a shield.
Main system activating.
So it's just kind of there, feeling like, yep, that's a generic AC that I gotta shoot more often than usual because it's got a shield on it. Man, Iguazu really was built from the ground up to be as unassuming as possible. Let's do this. Charge it. There it is. That shield does make him formidable. Rokumon-sen, the first major roadblock, I feel. He's very powerful, especially relative to his immediate peers.
Main system activating combat mode.
Surprisingly offensive, and relentlessly so. The javelin missile is always a struggle. But then he also has a shotgun whip. Will go in and kick you. Like, unlike most APs out there, this guy will dagger you, and it will hurt. And then he'll hit you with the whip, and it'll be just devastating. He also makes the Haldman feel like it hurts.
AP at 50%.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, he's just good and well-rounded. He's just good. How do you stop someone that's just good?
Main system.
Be better.
activating combat mode.
See how this works. One bit of predictability is that if he's partially staggered, almost no matter what, he will deploy the pulse armor. One little bit of predictability of his actions goes a long way.
AP at 50%. AP at 30%.
Coral missile, how did you miss? You went stationary. Got him! I didn't expect that to do enough damage to get him, but it got him.
Arena Combat Aptitude Evaluation Program, number 17.
And here we have Volta. I know a lot of people feel like they declared difficulty with Volta starting out. I don't really remember Volta being trouble for me. Maybe it was. I just don't remember it. But I definitely don't feel particularly like I struggle with Volta that much currently. And also for the particular ACs in Arena Royale, I don't feel like I struggled with Volta overall. Maybe more than, I don't know, Index Dunham, but not up there with the likes of Cold Cause or Rokamonsen and stuff. If you chose me to fight either Rokamonsen or Volta in the arena, I would pick Volta most times. That said, I will say that I had quite a bit of trouble with Volta, specifically in the mission where you fight Volta. Not in the arena where you fight Volta, but the mission you fight Volta, I feel like I struggled. Or at least I remember struggling. I don't remember Volta in the arena, but Volta in the campaign mission, yes. Next up is Pater. Memorable character. AC is, in my mind, Maeterlinck with a melee weapon.
Activating combat mode.
Which makes complete sense, that's effectively true. He also has microwave emitters, also a shield. The microwaves come from the shoulder weapon, so that opens up the room for the melee weapon elsewhere. But in my mind, it just feels like Maeterlinck 2 in terms of the arena. Which is fine. Maeterlinck was a tricky fight, Pater's a tricky fight. His great evasion makes him a formidable opponent. The terminal armor means he is sticking around for one last laugh. Let's just put this down. Shoot once. Shoot twice. Sight. And then we have Sula. For some people, Sula is harder than Balteus in their first run through, which is understandable. It's like your first perspective on an AC that you fight against that isn't effectively a slower mirror view in Tester. To many people, this is their first impression of what an AC can truly do in the hands of someone vaguely competent. Confident and competent, I suppose. His general speed, well, more than an MT, or a tetrapod MT, makes him different than what you fight usually. And all the same, he has the All-Mine Special Javelins, which are very deadly if you get hit by. The potential to just stagger you in place, very formidable. You get stuck on him for a while, and then you beat him, and you're like, oh, thank goodness that's over. And then you fight Balteus. It's hilarious. Here we have Chatty. Chatty is interesting because Chatty is extremely formidable in the fight where you fight him in the campaign.
Arena combat app.
Main system activating.
But that's mostly
combat
because he is a support craft to the 2v1. And devastates you with his crazy amount of missile barrages and bazookas if you try to get close to him. In the arena, though, he is sort of an alternate take on Candlering. The delivery missiles are formidable, but it does do indeed, in certitude, feel like Candlering 2. Now, the missiles are a bit more indirect, so it's easy to forget they're there and then just get hit by them while you're not paying attention to it, which is a threat.
AP at 50%.
I gotta do that more often. He's using the tank wheels that are for speed. He's gonna be grounded all the time. Done. Then we have Flatwell. A cool character, not so cool AC.
Arena combat app.
I don't feel particularly threatened by something with very little health and the lack of a mind to actually dodge good. In the hands of a proper player, with maybe some weapon modifications for comfort, I think the Tsubasa style of AC with this frame may hold potential. But I also think that something so purely about evasive defense is overshadowed by things that put a few tiny points into durability, such as the Alba, or even the Knock Dryer.
50%. AP at 30%.
I imagine you, like, reach for the Tsubasa parts when you are really, really trying to keep the weight low, but your effectiveness still high. Because it is one of the lightest frames in the entire game. Like, you need some spare arms, but you're just at your weight limit. Reach for those arms. Then again, I'm not certain. I haven't really experimented with it that much. Maybe I should. Maybe there's a place for it. I think there's a place for almost any AC that somebody considers to be viable. Like, somebody will find an AC out there that is viable for them.
Main system activating combat mode.
They'll figure it out. I believe in them. Alright, let's go back to actually using... I forgot the targeting. Oops. So excited about actually remembering to charge the coral missile that I forgot the targeting computer. Okay. There we go. Again, irresponsible use of resources. Let's just sit in the bubble and do the charged coral site. Pretty good. Good combo! We did one! I actually charged the weapon and comboed with it. How responsible. Next up is Carla. For most, they see Carla in this arena, and they learn the folly of their ways. If they were trying to make a missile boat with, like, you know, the hand missiles and the shoulder missiles, like 10 cells, you get like 28 missiles out of that. Take one look at Carla and you will see just how few missiles you really brought to the fight. It feels like a joke. And you know what? It's a funny joke. I'm laughing, Carla. I am laughing. Like in spirit, not actively laughing out loud right now. I'm appreciating the joke. I respect the joke. I like the joke. It's a good joke. And, for all it's worth, he's managed to make a, like, bulky, slow missile boat AC kind of work. If you were doing the sort of, like, sky tetra missile boat thingy that other people do, I don't think the joke would be nearly as funny. So I appreciate that you've gone with commitment to the bit instead of actual combat effectiveness. You're out here to make jank work. You're not out here to be Arquipus. Then we have Cold Call. An unreasonably effective enemy in the arena.
Arena
Main system activating combat mode.
It's just something about it is lethal to me and possibly many others. Not that I would know. Comboed, kinda. I don't think it was a true combo. I should have started charging earlier if I wanted it to be a true combo. Okay, two-step check process. We have tracking, we have charge, go. There we are. I think you get a lot of benefit out of just taking the time to grind out mastery against Cold Call. It's just unreasonably good in a weird roundabout way.
Main system activating combat mode.
Not sure if I felt that way when I was fighting Cold Call in the campaign, but in the arena, yeah. Especially when I'm not using my main AC. Maybe that's the reason. Cold Call's really good against ACs that are not my main. I also think he's reasonably effective against ACs that are my main. Mine. Ow. Anyway, I should stop talking about Cold Call because I'm currently fighting Rusty. Gotta show respect for Rusty. Rusty's good.
50%.
Highly cherished member of the Rubiconian world.
At 30%.
Back here. There we are. Groot's a strong sledgehammer. I struggled with him a bit during the campaign.
Main system.
The flamethrower is
activating combat
intimidating,
mode.
and the 5-pip bazooka launcher is lethal. He also has a chainsaw, so he can do the Mad Stomp funny. I don't actually remember his tendency to do the Mad Stomp funny, though. When I think about my fights against Milktooth, I don't really remember or imagine the funny happening during it. We have tracking, let's get charge. Wait.
50%.
Most just stands there and does bazooka and missile. He does charge up the chainsaw a few bit. Maybe if he had the opportunity, he would do it. Oh, there it is. Alright, he uses it. Got him! I wonder if I would have survived that had I not destroyed him before the missiles hit me. Next up, Nile.
Arena combat aptitude.
Main system activating combat mode.
Nile's interesting because he stays grounded for the most part. It's interesting to see an AC very much focused on just standing their ground. And in some situations, it has proven to be useful. You deny me my punish? Oh! Normally it's scythe in the charged laser, but I did charge laser the scythe. Time for Snail. I remember my first arena fight against Snail was very silly. He got stuck in the remains of the Juggernaut or whatever. It was a little silly.
Main system.
Haven't been able to recreate that success though. Maybe they patched his navigation mesh on this map. Actually, maybe that's why he jumps up so far to fly in at the start of the battle now. Maybe he didn't do that before. That said, as far as the fight goes, aside from the suppression he does with the plasma missiles and the stun pistol, his big thing is just doing that. Which is, if you have the EN to dodge it, very telegraphed and not very intimidating. And then he just, like, gets angry. He does seem to like his assault armor, though. He uses it both in Open Faith and Belt. Then we have Chartreuse, the Bulldozer. Haven't...
Main system. Activating.
Chartreuse is very much ZE if ZE had even more bazookas and a supremely bulky frame and could fly. Which does indeed serve to make this the advanced training partner for dodging. Comes highly recommended as a training partner against fighting tanks, because tanks do tend to use this kind of strategy. Like bazooka tanks, shotgun tanks, they do kind of operate like this. In terms of tanks out there, all I got to say. Next up is Dolmayan. An interesting high power, high strength
Activating combat mode.
Basho AC. Shows you a side of the Basho frame that isn't just RLF hopefuls, under-tuned and undergunned. That combined with its position in the story kind of gives you a wake-up call to like, oh, what's going on here? And it's neat. Fast and maneuverable. A lot of the Basho problem with the other RLF members is solved by simply having a fantastic generator. I lost to it. As can happen.
Main system. Activating combat mode.
Basho surprisingly durable. Decently high AP, good armor stats. And yet still maneuverable. The mine puts that maneuverability to good use. Yeah, just hit for hit. I'm not keeping up. Idea. Solved it. I solved the puzzle. It was to use a shield. Funny how that works. Next up is King. It was only very late into the process that I developed a sort of profile for combating King. King's shield is unique in that he just sort of leaves it there and it becomes better. This means that what you really need to do is slog through the first layer of defense, and then once that's down, put everything you have into making sure you beat him before the shield goes back up.
AP at 50%.
And so I will. And so I did. Yeah, once that shield is overloaded, that is your opportunity to strike. Michigan. I like Michigan. In terms of an arena opponent, he's just sort of there. He's cool in that he has the songbirds, which I liked to use. And then later he became cool because he had the explosive thrower, which I learned to like to use. I feel like we have vaguely an affinity for similar weapons, albeit maybe completely different frames. Target clear. Sight!
AP at 50%.
Got him. And finally, Freud. I'm going to be honest. Overall, I think Freud is a little bit of a narrative and also difficulty disappointment. As the final AC of the arena, he's nothing special, just sort of like Arquebus Branch Nightfall with a little less charm. Granted, he is formidable if you let him be, but it just doesn't seem like a meaningful fight. That said, he does have the ability to obliterate you if you just go in without a plan.
Main system.
Well, that's true of anybody. And this guy is the end of the arena. Alright, you know what? I've said a lot of rude things about Freud, and here we are at the final moments. He's ready to teach me why he is considered a threat. Alright, I took you seriously for a few seconds. You've had your moment. Alright. Fair. You get one, Freud. You get one.
Integration program.
Main system activating combat mode.
Mind Alpha. The AC of nobody in particular, but notably lethal due to it having the ever-so-classic Deadly Sight. And the Javelin missiles. And can do that. And can also lose. Mind Beta. AC of Transcriber. An interesting design. I like the use of the knife. But the attacks done are very telegraphed here. It will always be like knife into cursive, fully charged if possible, with the laser orbital doing most of the grunt work until then. It's a simple plan, but it's very committal. Now, when you're far away, you go straight to the cursive. And on occasion, Mind Beta will actually go for the knife on you. Sometimes that's a mistake. Like there. They're holding back now. Went for the shield. Yeah, I think this was more of a transitionary design. Like between Alpha and Gamma, it's this sort of unoptimized middle ground. But then came Gamma. Gamma improves on Beta's general vibe by removing the melee weapon and instead going for a sort of design that counteracts attempts to approach it. Adopting a much more evasive playstyle with a weapon suit that lets you really punish somebody walking straight forward at you. Like, I would consider it actually quite difficult to kick this AC. Because it will move backwards and rapidly fire all of its weapons at you at point-blank range. So you really have to look for an opportunity to engage.
50%.
Fortunately, Echo is pretty decent at range with the scythe. So we could overpower the shields and attack without having to go into super melee. Next up, we've already done Trainer and Tester. Let's go Corporation. I do still strongly believe that if Corporation was a real AC, it would be a lamp.
Integration program.
Maybe I should, just out of curiosity, make Corporation again, except swap out some of the parts for lambs. Maybe alter Rubiconian to include the weapons from RAD that were not in the game at the start. The only one I can think of is the Attache. But also, I believe the shoulder-mounted Gatling gun was also not in the game at launch. And that one could also go on Corporation. We could swap out some weapons to make Corporation a bit more unique and one-of-a-kind. Like, maybe remove the vertical missiles, add that Gatling. Maybe remove that, whatever rapid-fire gun that is, for... Wait, no. Okay, big thing, remove the vertical missiles, replace it with the Gatling. Swap out the legs for the lamb legs, maybe some other frame reconfiguring. And then Rubiconian can get the attaché instead of, I don't know, maybe the Sweet 16? I haven't really decided. Maybe the other weapon that Rubiconian has? I don't even remember what other weapon Rubiconian has. Let's go check. And what other weapons were included in that update? It was like the big ones to me were the Lammergeier and the shoulder Gatling. Everyone was really excited about the shoulder Gatling.
Phase 2. Final analysis.
Okay, I want to look at you for real quick. What's the other one? Oh, that's just like a Etzogen or whatever. The
combat mode.
like in the Uzi family. Yeah, we could totally swap that out for an attaché. That's fine. Cool. We're updating All Minds designs to account for stuff for bonus content. Something about fighting Rubiconian reminds me of my early forays into fighting against other players. I don't know why. Already did you. Institute, the pressure cooker AC. A weird one. In no small part due to its weird weapons
Integration.
Main system.
and weird
Activating
environment.
combat mode.
It uses the sight creatively to almost keep you at a distance. It's like, stay back, I have a sight. Which is appropriate for its use as part of the closure system. I remember that when I first started fighting against other players, the noodle missiles, or at least there was one particular opponent in like the custom lobby that was considered strong, and they had the noodle missiles, the spaghetti missiles, or whatever you want to call these blue ones. And I remember feeling very proud of myself for figuring out how to reliably dodge them. It was mostly just quick boost forward under them, and
Target destroyed.
then they were dodged,
Including analysis.
which gave me a
Well
good
done.
advantage in the fight. Next up, the poster boy of the entire game, Nightfall. Probably the poster boy for, one, being cool, and two,
Main system. Activating
being
combat mode.
accidentally misunderstood as being you, the player character, in the promotional stuff. Like, if you looked at Nightfall for the first time, and then you look at Loader 4, like, the next day, you will probably accidentally think they are the same AC. Which is an entirely understandable conclusion to reach.
Main system. Activating combat mode.
And then when they show up for real, it's like, oh no, I've invoked a force of nature. Pretty neat. Alright. The final three in this, the stream of the final three.
Raven, All Mind was keeping...
Ortus.
Main system. Activating combat mode.
Ortus's approach is very straightforward. He wants to get in close and hit you with the melee and the needles. To stagger you, to hit you with like a super blender shot. The solution to this is, for the most part, walking backwards with a little bit of a shimmy. If he goes in for a charge melee to try and stagger you, your best option is to have the energy to quick boost repeatedly to out-EN him before he can actually hit you with it, because it will stun you in place. That said, without that melee weapon available immediately, he can't use it as part of his primary punish option, which is the 1-2 combo. Now I've been staggered, he's going to try and go for it. He at least tried to go towards me, but it didn't work, and now I kick him, and now I shoot him, and now he's got the big old shield out. Let's put this up. It won't really help against this opponent because he wants to go towards me anyway.
AP at 50%.
And then we hit him. Second to last is Hal. A powerhouse of Coral.
Raven.
Main system activating combat mode.
But in my opinion, fairly predictable. Or at least, if not, like, predictable in their behavior, their attacks are all very telegraphed. So long as you don't stay perfectly still, you will have an opportunity to respond. Like so. He's looking for an opportunity to use that melee weapon, I imagine. Almost. Lucky for me, at least, I have a shield. Even though I'm not as fast as I would like to be.
AP at 30%.
And they made the correct move, just walking backwards. Unfortunately, I have the power to spare. Does the Coral charge weapon on this one in particular work like the Javelin? I mean, I know it's a Coral variant of the plasma gun, but it does damage over time, like the plasma gun, by mimicking the Javelin. Interesting. Okay. This
Raven.
is the final fight.
Main system.
Echo
activating
versus
combat
Echo,
mode.
reverberating in darkness forever. Perpetually spiraling in on itself to evolve to become something better. It's done.
Thank you, Raven. I believe I've learned a lot.
As have I, Air. As have I.